Shisui Uchiha, a shinobi whose devotion ran so deep that even Itachi believed he would have protected the Uchiha clan to the very end, even from him. Born just before the onset of the Third Great Shinobi World War, Shisui found himself amidst the bloodiest conflict in Naruto's history. Graduating during the war, he and his best friend faced the harsh realities of battle, their squad surviving to witness the aftermath. During a crucial moment on a cleanup mission, while separated from their squad, Shisui watched his then best friend die, triggering the awakening of his Mangekyo Sharingan, as he felt responsible for his friend's death. Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan, Kotoamatsukami, came to be known as one of the strongest genjutsu abilities of all time. I will be making a video covering this in the future, so hit that subscribe button and bell. Currently think of Koto as controlling free will though. This left Shisui broken for months, and due to his experiences with the war and the regret and guilt of watching his best friend die, he became a pacifist, never wanting to cause that suffering again. After months of being broken, Shisui met a 5-year-old Itachi Uchiha. While Shisui was showing Itachi some shuriken techniques, Itachi asked, "Why is there fighting in life?" To which Shisui responded, "Who knows, but if the fighting can be stopped, I'd like to stop it." Their friendship blossomed, with Shisui becoming a mentor to Itachi, sharing his insights on ninjutsu and life. This sets the stage for a profound bond between two of the most gifted Uchiha in history. As time went on, Shisui's reputation as a genin grew, renowned as Shisui of the Body Flicker for his mastery of the technique. Even in his early years, he showcased skill that set him apart. His mastery of this D-rank technique is insane. Shisui Infiller creates after images that can attack, making him a fearsome opponent. Later, Shisui was sent on a training mission with a genin Itachi. Shisui imparts crucial lessons, not just in ninjutsu, but in understanding the nuances of the shinobi world. Sitting by the campfire that night, Shisui tells Itachi that he's happy to be able to teach Itachi things. Since Itachi is a genius, he didn't think there'd be much he could teach him. Itachi asks why they made a fire as it's against the rules. Shisui says that it's nice to share a hot meal with someone you feel at ease with. Itachi admits to Shisui that he awakened the Sharingan. Shisui does not congratulate Itachi, instead asking if that's why he lied about going on a mission to not stay at home. This is quite critical for both of the Uchiha because Shisui felt such great turmoil about awakening his Mangekyo Sharingan that he understands Itachi's views and frustrations about the pain and how the Uchiha idolize the Sharingan that is born from suffering. All while Itachi was struggling with his friend's death. Their night was cut short as they came across a leaf shinobi being attacked by root members. Shisui steps in to protect the shinobi, and this is when we truly see Shisui's Nindo. In the midst of this action-packed mission, Shisui's ideology shines through. He defines a true shinobi as someone who maintains peace from the shadows, emphasizing that true peace isn't achieved through the power of the blade alone. This ideology becomes crucial in understanding Shisui's choices later on. Itachi then shows us his belief in the older Uchiha, saying, "I will fight alongside Shisui." Later, we see a heartwarming scene of Shisui carrying a young Itachi after he sprains his ankle. Shisui, with a smile on his face, is happy to take Itachi under his wing, and tells Itachi to think of him as the older brother he didn't have who he can depend on for anything. Itachi, contemplating if Shisui made the right decision about interfering with an active Onbu mission, asked him. Shisui says, "I don't even know if there is such a thing as justice in the shinobi world. We fight believing in our justice, but if the enemy is doing the same, who's right?" He asks Itachi, if he realized there's more than one side to an issue, and that we must consider things from various viewpoints. As Itachi falls asleep due to exhaustion from using his Sharingan, Shisui promises that there's one thing that's certain: I will never, ever betray you. A few years later, Shisui's prowess hasn't gone unnoticed. He becomes a jonin at a young age. We discover the challenges he faced as the sole breadwinner for his family. Shisui's father lost his leg in the war and became bedridden. Due to his declining health, he eventually stopped recognizing his own son. Around 11 years old, Shisui was wise enough to understand the situation and that everyone will die. And as a true shinobi, you have to carry on. So Shisui was prepared for his father's passing, having years to make peace with this reality. A little while later, Itachi was assigned a mission by Danzo to eliminate Mukai for selling secrets to the Mist Village as a test for him to join Anbu. Allowing him to pick a partner, he chose Shisui. This fight was one of the hardest the two Uchiha ever fought, as Mukai was an insanely powerful Hyuga. Despite the attempts from Shisui and Itachi to use coordinated attacks and even trying to lead Mukai into Itachi's genjutsu, they were unsuccessful. This is a skilled jonin, very used to combat, deadly Hyuga prowess. They experienced this as Mukai sliced through giant fireballs and grabbed Shisui by the throat, as Itachi was struggling to move due to Mukai striking his chakra points. Itachi tried to use genjutsu but failed. In desperation, as he was being choked out and Itachi was barely able to move, Shisui tried using his Mangekyo Sharingan's genjutsu, succeeding. The genjutsu, however, activated Mukai's seal, causing him to drop Shisui and cut open his own stomach. These techniques, though gruesome, are not uncommon for shinobi, to prevent enemies from gaining valuable intel that would hurt their family and village. He attempted to get a final cigarette for himself. Unable to, Itachi put a cigarette in his mouth and Shisui lit it, showing even though he was an enemy, he was still a leaf ninja deserving Shisui's compassion. Later, Team Shisui was sent on a long mission in which they were tasked with chasing away Kirigakure forces being led by Ao. Shisui put multiple enemy shinobi under genjutsu simultaneously from a massive range. This made Ao activate his Byakugan at him. Once Ao realized it was Shisui of the body flicker, he had his team retreat, telling them they were no match for Shisui. This is incredible for a couple of reasons. First, very few shinobi ever have such renown that enemy ninja just run, showing that even by 13 he was feared across nations. Not many ninja ever instill such fear. There are some who do, but not many, one of those being Minato. Second, even though Shisui was powerful enough to earn that response, he chose to reveal himself and scare away enemy ninja rather than killing anyone, a testament to his pacifistic ideals. Upon returning from the mission, Shisui realized that the clan's anger was growing and they wouldn't deter from the coup, due to the suspicion of their involvement in the nine-tailed demon fox's attack and the distrust felt from the village. Shisui approached Hiruzen, the Hokage, revealing the truth of the Uchiha's plans for a coup d'etat, saying he is troubled by the suspicion cast upon the Uchiha and his hope is to have the village and the Uchiha get to a place of trust again. Hiruzen, seeing in young Shisui his old friend, Kagami Uchiha, allowed him to spy on his clan for the village. Hiruzen tells Shisui he reminds him of Kagami. However, Shisui disagrees with Hiruzen, saying that he's nowhere near the shinobi Kagami was. A lot of people like to say that Shisui made the wrong choice here, but with his back pressed against the wall, with the love for his clan and his village in his heart, he reached out to the Hokage, saying, "Hey, My clan wants to betray the entire village. Will you please allow me to work with you to try to resolve this mistrust?" Shisui then meets up with Itachi to talk about the coup, discussing the seriousness of the situation, stating that the village and the Uchiha clan won't change without the other changing first, but both need to change. Both agreeing that it'll only get worse due to all the mistrust. Shisui states he wants to clear up that mistrust, not knowing if he can, but knowing he has to try. Itachi tells Shisui he's also against the coup. Shisui tells him not to act as the Konoha military police force ordered him to spy on Itachi. Shisui sympathized with Itachi, not wanting the Uchiha to go to war with the village. After all, Itachi inherited Shisui's will. For a while, he and Itachi spied on the Uchiha for the leaf. After months had gone by, the Uchiha were going to vote on the coup at their clan meeting, and the favor was for the coup to happen. Ultimately, it was decided that Shisui would use his Kotoamatsukami on Fugaku, the leader of the Uchiha clan and Itachi's father, to subtly end the coup d'etat. Itachi was aware of the plan as Shisui waited to make his move. Shisui told Itachi not to be at the meeting because he was worried Itachi would be blamed for Fugaku's change of heart since members of the clan were already suspicious of him. Hiruzen, agreeing to the plan, sent Shisui to stop the coup vote from happening. Shisui and Itachi had planned to rendezvous after Shisui executed the plan. However, Danzo, believing that simply manipulating Fugaku wouldn't end the conflict, chose to call on Shisui before he went to the Uchiha meeting. Danzo tells Shisui that it would only postpone the coup at best, not solve the problem. Shisui argued that it's worth the effort now, it could buy the time needed to bring the Uchiha and the village together. Shisui, with passion, told Danzo that it'll take time but that the third Hokage has promised the village will change as well, so using Koto is the best chance at resolving this conflict. However, Danzo pointed out that even if the third Hokage says it'll change, some people never will, including him. Danzo asked Shisui if he would then use his Koto on him to try and force peace. The desire to protect the village in his own way forced Danzo to attack Shisui. Typical Danzo fashion, by the way. I cannot explain this right now because it would take too much of your guys' time, so I will discuss Danzo in a future video. As Danzo leapt at Shisui, he realized he couldn't move because from the shadows, Yoji Aburame released a Kochu bug on him. The Kochu, being a bug that only Yoji can use, bites the target, paralyzing and fatally poisoning them. This bug is hard to detect, making it very fatal. Shisui is frozen and Danzo plucks out his right eye. However, the pain of having his eye being plucked out of his skull allows Shisui to break out of the paralysis and escape. At this point, Root members are sent in pursuit of Shisui to kill him before he talks to Itachi. Just a small note here, we have a few different explanation sources for this, but the most complete in my opinion is the Itachi light novels, so I'm using that for reference here. It's also personally my favorite explanation of the events. Leave a like if you love Shisui, and comment your favorite Shisui moment. As Shisui escapes, fearing that Danzo was right about not stopping the Uchiha's coup and that Danzo would continue to pursue his eye, he wrote a suicide note. The note told his clan that he cannot follow through with the coup d'etat, but his clan's narrow-mindedness made them unable to understand why. This later prevented them from understanding his desire for peace and reconciliation between the Uchiha and the Leaf. Shisui meets up with Itachi at the rendezvous point, telling Itachi that the coup is now unavoidable. If civil war breaks out, other nations are sure to invade, meaning a full-scale war. Shisui explained to him what happened with Danzo and his right eye, that Danzo didn't trust him and would protect the village his way. So, Shisui entrusts his left eye to Itachi before Danzo can come for it. Talking to Itachi, "You're the only person I can count on. My best friend. Please protect the village and the honor of the Uchiha name." Shisui rips out his left eye and calls down a crow, placing his eye in the crow and giving it orders to follow Itachi for the rest of his life. Others will say that this doesn't make sense, that this was somehow written poorly, or that Shisui was a sociopath, but that's not the case. Shisui Uchiha was a proud Uchiha who loved his village, one who tried to always see problems through everyone's perspective. He was someone who would take the pain and smile to put everyone else at ease. We've seen his compassion, his morals, his ninja way time and time again. We see it here, even when Danzo cost him his life as well as his plan to carve the way towards peace. The one thing we haven't seen from Shisui was him faltering on his path. People will say, why didn't he tell Itachi to kill Danzo? It's because he was Shisui, man. He saw what Danzo was saying and realized that the coup was going to happen. What's he supposed to do? Tell Itachi to go after Danzo? That doesn't help trust. Doesn't help the mistrust towards the Uchiha either. Or he can show up to his clan during their clan meeting while they're voting for a coup in his current state. The pride and joy of the Uchiha having his MS ripped out by a village elder. Boom, coup. Shisui understood Danzo's side. Danzo wasn't wrong about not being able to force others into trusting the clan. So with no time left, and his plan broken, he knew he could only trust Itachi, sharing a burden with him that he never wanted Itachi to have to carry. Itachi, who has shared ideals with him since they were young, now being forced to walk this dark path. Why? Because he didn't have enough time to try and find the answer. So he has to leave it to someone, and he decided to spend the time that he had left to give his best friend the best chance he could to handle the future. So Shisui tells Itachi that he will give him a new power, but he wants to tell him something first. Quote, I killed my good friend with this hand, Shisui said. At the sudden confession, Itachi's thoughts stopped completely. It was a little before I met you, he continued, his voice flat as if he was still leaving his friend behind. Itachi couldn't quite see the look on Shisui's face. I met a boy at the academy I could call a friend. He fought alongside me after I became a genin too. In fact, we were on the same team back then. He was my best friend. We really trusted each other. But he fell silent for a moment. That didn't even last for a year. This was right after the Third Ninja War ended. Missions were way harsher back then. They're not like how they are now. We were in the middle of a mission, with only a few other teams to clean up after the war. Somehow, we wound up ourselves in another land, enemy land. Our luck was bad. We ran into more enemies than we could handle. We were staring death right in the face. Fortunately, some of our comrades that got separated from us found us. They saved me, but not my friend. He was too slow to run. If I had just reached out for him, I could have saved him. He wouldn't have had to die, he said. Itachi, I envied him. My friend, I mean. He was blessed with more talent than me. I was jealous of him always running out in front of me, so that time I could have reached my hand out. But I couldn't bring myself to. I deliberately chose not to save him. I killed him. For several months, I was completely destroyed by the fact that I chose to kill him. Until I met you. Seeing you training so earnestly, I couldn't stop myself from calling to you. Spending time together with you, who always ran while looking straight ahead, I slowly recovered. I can't be grateful enough to you. My friend's death gave me a new power. It gave me the Mangekyo Sharingan. Quote, Shisui believed himself a murderer per the altered Uchiha stone tablet. Keep in mind, Shisui is believed to be about 8 when he awakened his Mangekyo Sharingan, and around 14 when he's having this conversation with Itachi. We finally see why Shisui so adamantly tried to always fight for a greater good. He truly wanted to make sure he did the right thing always because of the regret he lived with. We now know that Shisui can always be seen smiling and tried to avoid killing when he could. And we know why. Why, out of any ability his Sharingan could have unlocked, he gained the ability to control the free will of others. It's not because he murdered his best friend, but it's because he felt such pain at his decision to withhold aid, because he decided with his free will to cause harm. That pain led him to understand the significance of his Mangekyo Sharingan at 8 years old, and he spent every breath after trying to be what he came to define as a true shinobi. Looking to Itachi, Shisui says, "Kill me. Then obtain your Mangekyo Sharingan. With that you will get stronger. I'm not going to last long anyway. It's better to die giving you new power." Itachi felt something hot inside his eyes. "Now do it, Itachi," like words coming from a big brother pushing his little brother's back. He took a step forward shakily. "That's good," Shisui says to Itachi, whose cheeks are soaked wet with something hot like blood. Tears. "Shisui, I'm glad to have met you. I leave the rest to you." That was his friend's last words. Itachi never knew that Shisui had such darkness inside his heart.